Hi, welcome to Fusion Beads. Today I'm going to show you how to do our covering a component technique. I'm going to be showing you how to do this technique on the surface of a component and on the outer edge of a component using beads and wire. This wirework technique is a lot of fun, and you can see that there's a lot of different design possibilities with these components. For this technique, you're going to need a component, and I'm using a flat circle component to show you how to add beads to the surface and the outer edge. You're going to need beads, and I'm using 3mm bicone beads because I find they fit nicely on these components. You can use many different sizes and shapes of beads, but it's good to practice with 3 to 4mm round or similar shaped beads. They're just a lot easier to work with on these components. You're also going to need wire. And I'm using 26 gauge wire because it's an easier thin gauge wire to wrap around the component. You can also use larger gauges if desired, but 26 gauge is just a good gauge to start out with these size beads on this component. You're also going to need chain nose pliers, wire cutters, and hypo tube cement. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to cover a component on the surface here. So to start, this is about a 25mm circle component. So for that size, you want to use about a 2-foot length of wire, and that will be enough wire to go around the whole component. So if you have a larger component, you're going to want to adjust the length that you cut your wire to. Okay, so first you want to cut that wire. And then just take your component here, and you want to leave a little bit of a tail. And you want to just lay that wire over your component like that. And you're going to go over, behind, through the component, and back to the front, over, behind, and through. And you want to just anchor this wire to the component with 2 wraps. And once you go around twice here, you can just stop there. And now you want to just string your first bead. Bring that down to the component. Okay, so here is where you want to just lay that bead right on top, the surface of that component. Just hold it with your fingers. And you want to wrap the wire back behind, through the component and back around, the front, behind, and through. So you just want to anchor that wire so the bead is just right there on top of your component. Okay, so there's one bead. We have one wrap here. So now we just want to string another bead, bring it down. And again, just place that bead right on the surface of that component, as close to the other bead as you can get. Just hold it, and then bring that wire behind, through the component, and back up. Just bring it behind and through. You just want one full wrap to secure that bead in place. Okay, so now you have 2. Show you that again. So string a bead. Bring it down. Okay, and just have that sit right on top of your component. go behind with the wire, through the component, back up and around, behind and through. Okay, and so you can kind of push the beads together if they're a little too far apart, so they line up nicely on your component here. So there's 3 sitting on the surface of your component. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that until I get all the way around this component here. Okay, so I have gone ahead and covered the whole component here, and I just have room for 1 more bead. So I'm going to go ahead and string that. Okay, so add that bead. And again, just go around. So now we're just going to anchor this wire like we did at the beginning with 2 wraps. So we do 1, and then we're going to do 1 more. Okay, and on this component, this is a 25 millimeter component here, and these are 3 millimeter beads. 26 of those fit on this size component. Okay, so now you have your wire. Just make sure you kind of pull it tight. So it's laying across the back like that. Take your cutters and just cut those tails just right as close to the component as you can. Okay, and then use your chain nose and just kind of tuck those tails just so they're not sticking up. Okay, so you can leave it at that, but I like to dab a little bit of glue just right on the ends of the wire, just to keep it from snagging on your clothes or hair or anything that is going to be around the component. So you just take your glue. I have my hypo-tube cement here. Just do just a little drop on the ends. And then I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, so once your glue's dry, this sets in about 10 to 15 minutes. So after about 10 to 15 minutes, you can start to work with it again, and you can add it to your earrings, bracelets, necklaces, tons of different jewelry designs. And that is how you do the covering a component technique on the surface. So now I'm going to show you how to do the covering a component on the outer edge. So again, you want to cut about a 2-foot length of wire for this 25 millimeter circle component I'm using. And just, again, lay that wire, leaving a little bit of a tail. Lay that wire over your component. We're going to anchor that by just going up, around, let's go behind, through, back over, behind, and through. So we just want 2 wraps. Okay, so we have 2 wraps here, and now we just want to add a bead. Okay, so string 1 bead, bring it down to the component. Okay, and then here, we're going to rest that bead just right on the edge. And hold it in place with your fingers right on top there. And then you're just going to bring that wire behind, through, back up, around, behind, and through. So that completes one wrap. You can kind of use your fingers to push the wire closer together. And there you have one bead on the outer edge of your component here. Let's repeat that. So string a bead. Let's bring it down. Okay. Then hold that bead close to the other one here. Bring that wire behind, back up, around, behind, and back through. And again, you can just push those closer together. There you have two of your beads on the outer edge. Let's do one more. String your bead, bring that down, hold it in place, just right on that outer edge. Take your wire, bring it behind, down and through, back up, behind, down and through. Okay, so there you have 3 beads on that outer edge of your component. So I'm going to continue that until I get all the way around here. Okay, so I've covered my component on the outer edge, and I have room for one more bead. So just string that bead. Okay, and again, just hold that in place and bring it around. And here is just at the end where we want to wrap it around twice. So we do one, and then you just do one more. And this is 29 beads around this 25 millimeter component here. Okay, so just flip it over. Just kind of pull your ends so they're laying flat across the surface. Take your cutters, cut those tails as close to the component as you can. Okay, so now just take chain nose here. And just tuck those tails. Okay, so again, this is where I just prefer to dab a little glue. Just little drops right on the ends, on those wire tails there. I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, so I have let the glue set, and that takes about 10 to 15 minutes for the hypotube cement that I used. And now your component is ready to be used in your earrings, necklaces, bracelets, or whatever you choose. That's how you cover a component using the outer edge. Using the covering a component technique, you can see that there's tons of different design possibilities. Here are just a few examples where we've used the covering component technique on the surface of this bangle here. And then we've also made multiple on the surface. We've put them together to create earrings. And you can also use the covering component on the outside edge on the inside to create a fun look here. and that's just using the same technique, just doing it on the inside. So you can make tons of different earrings and bracelets and necklaces and whatever you would like to use these in. So we'd love to see what you create, so make sure you tag us in your social media posts. And if this video was helpful, make sure and hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we have tons of other beading tutorials to share with you. And you can find all of the tools and materials we used to cover these components today at fusionbeads.com.